Muaythai associations. It is morning time over there, evening time over here in Texas. Hey, Stephan, how are you doing?
Michael, a wonderful good morning. A wonderful good morning to all our friends at USMF. I hope you're all safe, and I hope the situation slowly but surely will improve in the United States and all over the world.
Thank you, thank you. So we got some questions coming up in the USA because we got a lot of stuff coming up in the Muay Thai world. We got stuff coming out about the IOC. We have stuff coming up about the World Games coming here to America. So everybody's pretty excited, but we're trying to clear up some stuff to make some people better aware about what's going on. So the first thing I want to ask you is what's the difference between the IFMA World Championships and other World Championships in Muay Thai that are out there?
I mean, first of all, IFMA is the only IOC recognized organization which is under the five rings. So, and eventually, the United States Olympic Committee will recognize Muay Thai under IFMA, especially as very soon IFMA going to get full recognition by the IOC. We understand that there are some other so-called Muay Thai federations doing Muay Thai World Championship, but none of them can have, by example, the national team of Thailand. The national team of Thailand only can go to the IFMA World Championship. The Thai government will not give any funding or any permission for the proper national team to go to any World Championship other than IFMA. Second, they're not allowed to use the national anthem or use the Thai national flag, as this is not the National Association of Thailand. It's just some business organizations which have no proper registration, which are not recognized by any international body in the sport movement, regardless if it's GAFE, the Continental Olympic Body, or the IOC. And secondly, none of them is a WADA signatory, meaning they have no policies in place for in and out of competition testing, nor do they have proper athletes' health and well-being in place, and the list goes on. So to make it right, if you go to the World Championship and you see 3 or 4 fighters from Russia or 2 or 3 fighters from France, these are not the national team. It's just a gym which is going to that event without the permission of the National Olympic Committee or the sports ministry of that countries.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So some people in the U.S. have got to compete at IFMA World Championships in the past, and some of them were successful in the B class, and then there was a B and an A class. When did it change to the under 23 division and an elite division? And what's the difference that you could say is from the past B and A to now under 23 and A elite division?
So first of all, everyone can fight in the elite. You do not necessarily have to fight under 23. Okay. If you are 19 or 20 years old and you're a top class fighter, then obviously you can go direct into the elite team of the country. But why we have done the under 23 and B is simply to protect the athletes, because obviously some countries are stronger than others. They are more developed, they have national funding. Look at Thailand, Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, France, just to name a few. They get proper funding, they go in proper training camp, they have elite program for the athletes. So if we, by example, put the Russian champion against an Indian athlete, by example, it will be a total mismatch. And it is not in any challenge for any of the two athletes, because the Russian athletes just gonna win for sure, and by example, the other athletes gonna be most likely damaged. So for us, it's very important that we protect the athletes to make sure that the developing nations have a chance to go up in the tree. And this is, by example, why we also have unified with the World Muay Thai Council. So if you are, by example, an IFMA elite champion, then automatically you can also challenge for the WMC world title as you can go toe to toe with the best athletes in the world. So it's very important for us that in the pyramid, like in any sport, if you look at soccer, how you call it in the USA, if you look at soccer, the kids 10 years old, they start with a smaller ball. They play at a smaller field. The goals are much smaller. The time is much less. And then slowly you go up to the elite level where you compete on the big field, 2 halves with 45 minutes. And as your body develops, develop and to make sure that you can slowly move up on the tree to the elite level.
So leads me to my next question. So the USA, we've seen that the importance of getting the experience and getting these athletes developed, and we've really put in investment into our youth athletes, and a lot of our adult athletes don't know this as a fact, is that the USA for males have not had an A elite athlete medal yet in the championships. We've had some B champion gold medalists of the past, but we've not had a A. We've had some athletes do really well, ace of 10 pow, get really close, but he got a cut. We've had some very big names go in there, but I don't think a lot of people in America know just how strong the elite level is at the IFMA championships and how many bouts they're facing and the type of people they're facing. They could be facing a stadium fighter from Thailand or an elite Russian fighter that has 100 IFMA style bouts under his belt. So
this is correct, Michael, because people don't understand the level of this event. They think that IFMA is amateur and all the others is professional, which is totally nonsense. Okay, it is just a different application of the rules. Because let's say in a professional fight, as you call it, you fight 5 rounds, 3 minutes. But then by law, you cannot fight 14, 21, or 30 days, depends on the country. While in 5 times in a week, meaning every day, you have to make weight. Every day, you don't know who you fight in the next round. And why we wear elbow guards and head guards is really simple, because if you do 5 fights in a week, and you have no head guard on, surely you're going to get a cut and cannot compete in the final. But if you look at the quality of the athletes, by example, you look at the Thai Netsanklai, you have Superborn, you have Sentai, goes for Russia, you have the Mahitov, you have the Atoms, Belarus, you have the Kulibins, and so on. And even if you look, the Valentina Shevchenko, all of them, they come from this style of fighting. They have grown through this event. And I understand that many people don't fight in IFMA because simply they think that they don't have the skills. They can go into so-called pro fights, get one of these Mickey Mouse title belts, hang them over their bed, and think that they're the champions of the world. But in their lifetime, they never would fight a Yotsanklai or a Superbon or a Kulibin or 11 Atom, just to name a few, because they just fight some C-class fighter, so to say, and then after 3 or 4 fights, they can get the world title belt, and basically they're cheating themselves. They're cheating the audience, in my opinion. So you want to go out there and you fight against the best athletes of the world, then there's only one way to go, and it's the IFMA World Championship.
Excellent. So that just a basic question that a lot of Americans don't know is that they see a lot of the stuff in the pads, that some of these athletes do cross over and fight in WMC galas and whatnot. They are professional athletes, like you just named, Superbon, Yotsenkai, Sanchai. They have competed in IFMA championships.
Yeah, all of them. The head guard, the elbow guards, and the shin guards, it's just for the safety. Imagine you have to have 5 fights to make it to the final. That means you fight 15 rounds against the best of the best. Yes. You imagine the damage to your body, to your shins, and so on. So therefore, without this protective equipment, we wouldn't have any finals. But the fighters itself, they're all world-class fighters. We don't different them in amateur or professional. It's an athlete. Okay, if you look at the Olympic Games, people say, "Oh, these are amateurs." I cannot see how the dream team in basketball of the United States, by example, are amateurs. I think together they have more money than some countries. So it is the professional, regardless. If you look at tennis or Usain Bolt, by example, you cannot say that this guy is an amateur, or ice hockey in the Winter Olympics. These are all top athletes. It's about the elite. It's about the best of the best. And the only way to become the best of the best is if you compete against the best of the best.
To further that point, what do you say to the people who say that the point scoring in IFMA is different than a WMC bout? Is it simply the same Muay Thai and just shorter rounds, or what do you say to the people that say that?
First of all, the people don't understand Muay Thai, would say that, because a tip is a tip. You know what I mean? A midsection kick is a midsection kick.
Yes.
You know, a sock is a sock. You know what I mean? So it's exactly the same techniques. Then if you have the head guard off or the head guard on, it does not make any difference. Obviously, the style can be different because in some fights you do fight in a way that you get not as much injuries, so you still have 100% of your body, so to say, when you make it to the final. So obviously, some rounds depends on the opponent. And since there, by example, if you go into, let's say, East meets West into the middleweight, where you have to fight 7 times or 8 times in a week, you don't know who you're gonna fight in the next round. Do you fight Kulibin? Do you fight Superbon? You don't know. So every fight you need to strategize new in one night, because only in the evening you know who's going to be your next opponent tomorrow morning. So the rules, the judging, everything is exactly the same. There is no difference.
Yes, and just maybe the only thing that is noticeable that I think is a cool thing is the scoring, the open scoring, where you can see if you won the round after each round.
I think this is very important, Michael, because number one, we want to be transparent to the audience. Okay? So that no fight can be manipulated. This is one of our main objectives, to be fair and to be in good governance. And second, the athletes know. If you, by example, thought you won a round in your mind, but your coach looks at the scorecards and said you lost that round, that means in the final round, if you are behind on points, you know you have to go for the knockout. While the other fighters know, I can fight now very carefully to bring that baby home. So that makes it so interesting, and they keep chasing each other or playing chess, so to say, through the entire match. And that makes it so interesting for the audience and the athletes themselves.
All right, Stephan, I only got a couple more questions for you. This is I mean, we know the answer to this, but just to illustrate how important the World Games are. People ask, you guys have a World Championships and you have a World Games. What's the difference between the World Championships and the World Games, and how important is it the World Games are coming here to the U.S. and the U.S. having to protect their house and have a good performance there?
First of all, the World Games is so to say the step board to the Olympic Games. If you look at the upcoming Olympic Games in a couple of weeks, all the new sports, they're all World Games sport. Okay, so this is very important for us that we are showcasing in the World Games our sport to hopefully have the chance to make another step. Secondly, the World Games is not just a single qualifier. The qualifier happens over 2 years. So that means it's really the 8 best fighters in each division. You can lose the World Championship, but still can be in the World Games because you accumulate enough points. And there, the 96 best athletes of the world come together for this elite event. And at the same time, You are on the platform with over 30 other sports in these multi-sport games. While the IFMA World Championship is a single sporting event, the World Games is a multi-sport event. So in the platform with American football, by example, and so many other sports. So it gives the athletes a proper opening ceremony where probably 30,000 people going to be in the stadium and cheer on Team USA as you walk in under the American flag in the United States. And I think this, for anybody which makes it in the World Games, is a one and only experience of a lifetime.
How important is it for the USA to have a great performance? You know, that you had said before in another USMF briefing that the USOC is going to be watching. You know, we're going to have a lot of eyes on us. Is this a sport you want to have in our United States Olympic Committee? This is really important. Could you how much more this is than just a regular Muay Thai tournament?
Well, let's not even start with the Olympic Committee. Let's start with the pride of USA. You know, you're going to have countries like Russia, Iran, just to name some of these countries where from political standing, there is even differences. So you have the best athletes of the world coming, the best Thais, the best Russians, the best Belarusian, the best French, the best of the best coming. And you are the only team in the world which have a full team, which have an athlete in every weight division. All the other countries can have only a maximum of 6 athletes. So it is very important that you are competitive because, by example, if Team USA does not make it in the final, it would be very embarrassing for USA Muay Thai itself and also in the eyes of all the other martial arts which are there, karate, jiu-jitsu, by example, of the World Games. So this, I wish I would have had chances like this. I wish I would have had opportunities like this.
Yes.
But they are given now, and it's up to the athletes to reach for the stars, to follow their dreams. And the World Games in our lifetime, in our athletes' career, will never come again to the United States. So therefore, 2022 must be the year of Muay Thai USA, USMF, and get out there and really follow your dreams and get that medal.
Thank you. There's one more question. It kind of ties in a bunch of things. Is what does IOC full recognition mean for IFMA? And a lot of people say, well, how long does it get in this? How long does it get in that? And we've seen that it's going to be in the European Games. Is there a chance that we could see it in the Junior Olympics sooner than the full Olympics? What's the full recognition mean?
Listen, number one, in my opinion, it's never the destination, it's the journey. Okay, so during the journey to IOC recognition, we have achieved many other things. Okay, like you said, we are in the European Games now. We're in the Indo-Asian Games. We are in the FISU Games. We are in the World Games. We're in the Arafura Games, and so on. So one step at a time, we go up in the pyramid. So on the 21st of July, when the IOC General Assembly will vote on Muay Thai, we reach the most important step. Because after this, we could apply for the Youth Olympics. We could apply for the Olympic Games. But most importantly, we are the only Muay Thai organizations which is fully recognized by the IOC. That means the American Olympic Committee could never ever recognize any other Muay Thai organization. The only organization they can talk to is USMF, as you are a member of IFMA and therefore recognized by the IOC. And this is key. Regardless what or how, on the Olympic level, no one can speak any more Muay Thai than IFMA and in America, in the USA, USMF. This is the most important point.
Thank you. Stephan, thank you for coming on. Do you have any last words here for all the American athletes, coaches, fans, everyone in the Muay Thai community here?
I mean, really, what I have seen, and Michael, I don't try to sweet mouth you, it's not my thing, but under your leadership, I think USMF really have developed uh, into a respectable and credible member of the Muay Thai and IFMA family. I think that solidarity and unity is the key for any development. If all the officials, if all the coaches walk in one direction for the benefit of the athletes, and looking at the unique talent of American athletes, there's so many out there, which, in my opinion, can be the best of the world if there is unity and if they understand that this is, first of all, for their own pride of their families, their gyms, but also the pride of the country of USA, then I think that the United States Muay Thai federations, you have a big future ahead of you. And let's not forget, Los Angeles 2028 is in your backyard, and we can apply for this. We can try to be in there, but this only can be done if USA Muay Thai is at the strongest, because Los Angeles can pick 5 new sports, but they're only going to pick sports where they know that USA can end up at the podium, and therefore you must show them now that you are one of the sports which can help the USA to reach the best of the best medals in 2028.
Man, that is exciting. Stephan, thank you for coming on. Thank you, everybody at the USA Muay Thai. Look forward to seeing you guys at the qualifying events for these upcoming games. Thank you all.
Good luck to you. Thanks, Michael.
Thank
Take
you.
care.